In today's session of Divorce Court, Vanessa had her sights set on Winston the moment they met. He was her first love, and she knew he'd always be special. But after 10 years of marriage, Vanessa says Winston is a liar and a cheat.
We went to bed and we were supposedly supposed to be together, being intimate. He calls me by his girlfriend's name.
Even in intimacy, you calling her by another
woman's name?
I have no recollection of that, ma'am.
I know you don't have any recollection. I forget it too.
But Winston says Vanessa is no angel.
You got a boyfriend and pregnant and got another baby?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Before the divorce?
Before the divorce.
So you're not as innocent as you claim?
Now Vanessa Lee and Winston Lee square off in today's session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Vanessa Glover Lee versus Winston Lee. Ms. Lee, what may I do for you today?
We've been married for 10 years, and in that 10 years, we've had a daughter, and he's never taken care of her. He's never kept a consistent job. He's never taken care of me. He's taken my Social Security number and used it to start a whole new life after we broke up, and I need to be paid to help take care of our child.
So you got a whole litany of things. You just opened a mouthful. She just said all of that without taking a deep breath. She's really upset with you.
Yes, ma'am, I see that, but it's all lies.
Deadbeat dad, huh? What does that mean?
Explain. Why is it a lie?
I'm on that deadbeat dad.
Then show her how you pay.
I take care of my daughter.
What do you do?
He does not take care of his daughter. When we broke up in December, when we moved and we stayed separately, the best thing for our daughter at the time was for her to stay with my mother. I left her with my mother. I signed over legal right to her. He agreed to pay $75 a week. I have an affidavit to that effect from Mrs. Spry to say that.
You have an affidavit from Mrs. Spry that he agreed to pay $75 a week?
Right here. And it shows on this affidavit that he only paid a total of $50, bought one pair of shoes, and nothing else.
And what else do you have?
I keep a journal, and he can tell you that. I keep a journal of everything. There have been times in our marriage when things have been so rocky that I write them down so as not to blow up. In this journal, one time in particular, because he cheats so much and tells me he doesn't cheat on me, we went to bed and we were supposedly supposed to be together, being intimate. He calls me by his girlfriend's name.
Even in intimacy, you calling her by another woman's name?
I have no recollection of that, ma'am.
I know you don't have any recollection. I forget it too. Let me see the receipts for the expenses. I wouldn't have any recollection of that either.
Also, Your Honor, if I might.
Hold on a minute. The affidavit, Mrs. Lillian Spry, is your mother?
Yes, she is, ma'am.
I have no aware of that, ma'am. None.
You have no knowledge of this?
No, ma'am. None.
Now, let me get back to this. He moved into another apartment, and it's in your name.
My name, the light was in my name, the phone was in my name.
But you don't live there.
No. And so were the three girls in his bed, the one hiding in the closet.
You're talking so fast, I can't get past. 3 girls in the bed hiding?
Girls in the bed, a girl in the closet, I know, because ask him, I had to hit her.
See, that's valid.
Now don't talk about hitting anybody.
It's valid. She's valid.
Your Honor.
Hold on, Ms. Lee. You separated, and she put the electric and gas bill in her name for you?
And see, in South Carolina, I cannot put in her name without her signature, so I know I didn't do it.
If you sign her name, you can't.
No, ma'am. I need a Social Security card. I cannot do it. No, you have to show ID and everything. She had to be it herself. She did it herself in South Carolina.
What happened was some woman, apparently his girlfriend, because when I got that bill, I was still in South Carolina, I went there to ask them about this. She said, a woman signed for that. It was not me.
Now, why would your wife, if she's living somewhere else with she and the child, why would she sign for you to get a place and pay utilities for you?
No, she wasn't paying utilities.
Well, why would she put it in her name for you?
Because she always does it.
And when you're leaving her?
She always does it.
When you're separated?
Yes, ma'am.
So what you're saying, your wife is an idiot or something?
Yeah.
She always does that? What would make her do all that?
What? She loved me. She loved me.
So you saying she loved you so much, even though she was leaving you, she put the utility bill in your name?
She always said she was going to leave me. She always said she was going to leave me and never left.
Okay, but you live there, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you didn't pay this bill?
I didn't pay the bill.
Well, it says important final notice. So that means the bill is unpaid.
Well,
didn't the bill come to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you pay the last bill?
No, ma'am.
So this is your bill?
It was her bill. Her name was on it.
Oh.
Her name was on it.
Her name may be on it, but her hide wasn't in that trailer.
All right.
She was there for a little while. She was there for a little while.
Yeah, I was climbing through the
She was
window,
there for a little
busting
while.
him with another girl. That's when I
You
was
didn't need to be doing that either, Mrs. Lee. I wouldn't brag about doing that either. You
Not
could have gotten
bragging
yourself
about it at
arrested.
all.
Well, let's talk about my scar I have on my arm, then.
You're free
Let's
to
talk
play
about
the
my
scar.
scar. 54 stitches I have on my arm, Your Honor.
54 stitches?
Stitches in my arm.
Ms.
He
Lee?
came in and told me to go upstairs, take off my clothes, that we were going to have sex. We never had sex when I wanted to, only when he did. That's how this works.
So you cut him up to keep from having
No,
sex?
ma'am. What he did was left me in the bed for an hour. So I get up, I get dressed, I come out to go look for him. All of the neighbors are telling me he's in there with his wife. The apartment next door, my next door neighbor, is who he's screwing.
Wait a minute. You're at his house.
I'm at our house.
He leaves you in the bed for an hour.
He tells me, he said, get dressed, I'll be right back. Get undressed, I'll be right back. When I stayed
And
there,
you stayed in the bed for an hour
laying
undressed,
around
waiting for him to come back?
Waiting for him. So now I'm getting really cranked up and angry because I know he left me for whatever reason. So I go outside, I get dressed, I go outside, and I said, have y'all seen Winston? I call him Jack. I asked if they saw Jack, and they said, well, who are you? I'm supposed to be his sister, but the girl next door is supposed to be his wife. Brianna is not his child. That's my child who he's trying to help me out with.
Is that the story you
And
concocted?
when he would not come out. Excuse me, when he would not come out.
Well, he said that you love him a lot. You love him enough to do all that.
Winston was my very first love, my first sex partner, and the first a lot of things. I gave him that much respect, and because I did not know better, yes, I put the fact that I loved him so much ahead of what was smart. And I openly admit that. But right is right and wrong is wrong. You don't have to cheat. What he did is he never came out of the place. So when they finally tell him, go ahead and deal with it, because I was ranting and raving. He came out and he came in our apartment. I blew up. I hit him, and in all honesty, I didn't even hit him. I grabbed him from the back.
Now,
and
some way he got
yes.
54
when
sutures.
I pulled him, we fell.
No, we
and he
didn't.
fell towards the window. I fell backwards. What happened was his arm went through the window and cut him. Vanessa didn't touch you like that.
Now, you know, it sounds like one of those stories that men tell when you end up with 54 sutures. I really didn't hit her. You put the chain of motion in action, and you caused the result and accept the responsibility for it. And you shouldn't have grabbed him. You shouldn't have been going back at a window. That's a grown man. You don't grab him and get ready to fight because you're angry. That's not the way to solve the problem.
But that's why I tell you I keep a journal. In this journal, the next page will tell you that I went back to him. I apologized. I offered to pay the medical expenses for that and let him stay in the apartment while I went off.
When divorce court returns, Vanessa testifies about Winston's affairs.
He got a girlfriend, he living with her, and they're trying to make a baby now. Only because he found out I was pregnant.
How do you know what you're trying to do? You in that bed?
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. Divorce Court is back in the case of Vanessa Lee, who says her husband Winston is a deadbeat and she wants a divorce after 10 years of marriage.
So you left him in the apartment to compensate for the medical expenses?
No, I paid. I was going to pay.
You paid?
What he did was he never gave to me the bill. So I bought his groceries.
Huh?
I paid that rent.
No, you didn't.
And I paid the utilities in there for 1 month.
All right, well, we get it off track. What I want to know is, why did you put that bill in your name? That's what he said.
I never put the bill in my name. When I went to the light company as well as the telephone, I called the telephone people.
So you never lived here?
I should not be able to get another phone bill because I have an existing phone bill.
X&G bill.
Excuse me.
This says gas. I don't know about, where were you talking about a phone bill?
I have a phone bill.
You do?
I didn't even bring it. I'm
so you
sure.
have a phone bill too that's not...
All his
That's in my
utilities
name.
were in
That phone was in my name.
Were in my name.
How long have you been separated?
We've been separated on and off the entire 10-year
Since her boyfriend got pregnant and had another baby.
Yes, I do.
You got a boyfriend and pregnant and got another baby?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Before the divorce?
Before the divorce.
So you're not as innocent as you claim?
Oh, no, ma'am. I make no bones to be innocent at all.
Yes, you did.
So how
I
did you
make
get
no
another
bones.
boyfriend and have a baby already?
And they live together.
And is that a problem?
Yeah, it is a problem.
No.
He's telling you this, Your Honor, but he got a girlfriend, he living with her, and they're trying to make a baby now. Only because he found out I was pregnant.
How do you know what you're trying to do? You in that
Because
baby?
He's got my telephone number.
You have
He's
mine.
got my address.
You have mine.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
And he
Okay,
calls me regularly to tell me these things.
I can't settle all of that infidelity
I make
and
no
all of
bones, Your
that.
Honor, about him cheating. That's his business. I don't care. I am over this. What I am here today for,
Well,
and
what
my
you
doctor...
need to do first is get your divorce, both of you, before you enter into other relationships and start having other children.
I understand.
too late for
Absolutely.
her.
All you do is complicate
Too late for her.
matters.
It's not a complicated situation. My life now is my life. This is
still a
a
mess.
small...
Complicated
still a mess.
matter. You have a child. You have a child who has a father. Before you can divorce her father, you got another man in her life. Think about it. You too. Your child doesn't understand what relationships are all about, what husband and wife is all about.
Exactly.
Here she is, daddy got another
Exactly.
woman, mama got another man.
Exactly.
She doesn't understand what's going on. What example are
Exactly.
you setting for her?
Exactly.
Ask
And
him
that's
about
the
I'm
part that I'm
talking to you as
sorry.
well, you and your other relationship.
Well,
And
Mama-
that is what I'm
You're
most
not
sorry
innocent?
about.
Yes, I am.
That
She
is what I
stayed
am.
with her, though. She stayed with her mother.
You are not innocent.
Yes,
Just
ma'am.
because she stays with her mother, she still has a father who's involved in another relationship. She sees you sometimes, I hope.
She does.
And I keep
Even
that
though
up.
you give
I
her when
make
you can.
sure, I make sure.
What
when
else do you
Brianna
want me to
thinks that-
resolve today?
When Brianna thinks that her daddy has left her and done nothing for her and he made promises to her, I sit there and I fit the bill. I let her think that it was me that did her wrong, not him. That girl thinks the world of
Don't punk out
She
now.
does
Don't-
not know that
Now she
this
wanna cry.
boy
That
is
her
no
father
good.
doesn't give her anything.
Now she wanna cry.
Nothing. Christmas, he promised her a television.
Now she wants
What
to
he
cry.
tells me, the television is locked in a trunk where he can't get to.
Okay, what can I do for you today?
I have her going to the dentist. It has not started yet. She's got feelings that need to be done.
By me saying it.
She
By
has-
my-
She
I
already.
told, wait a minute. I told both of you I can only hear one at a time. I can hear both, but I won't hear both. What about the dentist?
The job I'm on, I get dental, but it kicks in after 1 year. This needs to be taken care of now. What I'm doing is cutting bills in half so that I can pay for this.
What is the expected cost of that?
Right now, they tell me just to put the filling in is going to be $150.
Do you have any dental insurance, Mr. Lee?
Yes, ma'am. She's covered on my insurance.
She's covered on your
Yes,
dental
ma'am.
insurance?
Never knew
hold,
that.
Hold on.
Hold on. Just be
I'm
quiet.
telling
She's
right now.
covered on your dental insurance?
Yes, ma'am.
And he's giving me no cards.
Another
Wait
thing.
a minute,
No
Mrs.
cards.
Lee.
Another thing. Oh, my daughter's supposed to get glasses too. I called.
Listen, let me
it.
finish with the dentist, if I may. Now, what is the coverage that you have?
80%. They do. My job pay 80%. I pay the rest. Other 20.
All right. Now, what about eyeglasses?
The eyeglasses. She was supposed to get glasses, and I called her 2 weeks in advance, and I told her. I said, Vanessa.
You
I'm gonna
called
take
her when?
2 weeks in advance to tell her that I'm gonna take Brianna, come and get her to have an eyes exam. Okay, fine. Come and get her. 2 days before, I called her again. I said, Vanessa, I'm coming to get Brianna on Saturday. Okay, fine. I called her again. She's gone, out of state.
So you couldn't take the baby to get her eyes
take her.
examined?
Couldn't take her.
That's not true.
So she needs eyeglasses?
Yes, ma'am.
Has she had the eye exam yet?
She did it already.
I have insurance for the eyeglass cover. Dental is altogether separate. Everything else
so
is
you
covered.
have eyeglass insurance coverage?
I do. That is covered on the insurance for both her and I.
So you don't need him to pay for the eyeglasses?
No, but I do want him to pay the difference of the cost.
You have dental cards for your daughter?
Yes, ma'am. Well, yes, they're back home. I do.
But you have the cards?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What else?
I'm also asking for him to pay back to my mother all the money that is owed to her. He does not have any reason to say that he could not pay. Winston has a
What's
very
all
bad
the money
work.
like what that's owed to your mother?
His agreement with me before we sent Brianna away when we knew we were
didn't send
going to
her away.
break up. After that argument, his agreement was that he would pay every week $75.
Did you promise this $75 per week?
No, ma'am.
Why don't you have a child support order?
All of this is in the works. All of it.
Yeah,
He
all-
tells me he's scared.
So for
he
the future,
scares
you
me.
will have a child support order?
Yes, beforehand, he had me scared because he tells me he knows the law. So I'm afraid to go.
What else?
I do have one of the receipts to show Brianna's wearing uniforms in school. So with that, I have to buy specific things. I brought a copy of that.
Did you know your daughter was in private school?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know she wore uniforms?
Yes, ma'am.
How many have you bought?
She has 4 for me. I bought them last week.
How many have you bought?
6.
Also, she has 12 because I just bought those just
Because her
recently.
outfit was dirty.
When
Still
the
for
day
2
that
weeks.
Just tell me,
Brianna,
how many uniforms have you
she
bought
has
for her?
12.
'Cause outfit
She
was
has-
And
dirty.
you bought all 12?
The 12 that, yeah, they're at my house where she lives.
But no one's told me about tuition. Is a child in private school?
She's not in private school, but the school is better. It's ranked one of the
So it's
three.
a public school?
It is a public
Okay.
school.
I just want to know if it's a public or a private
is.
school.
It is.
Okay. I'll be back.
When divorce court returns, the judge renders her verdict. And an update on the case of Joanna Archer versus Jim Archer.
On what fantasy reality planet were you on at the time? Because I think your pantyhose cut off the circulation to your brain.
Woo!
Divorce Court will be back in session in a moment. Divorce Court is back and the verdict is in the case of Vanessa Lee, who is divorcing her husband Winston after 10 years of marriage because she says he's too controlling.
Back in the matter of Vanessa Glover Lee versus Winston Lee. Mr. Lee, I don't know if you're seeing your daughter regularly, and I don't know if you're giving support regularly. You weren't clear to me, and you didn't convince me that you were giving something on a regular basis. Ms. Lee says she's applied for child support. Hopefully she'll get an award real soon. But in the meanwhile, you said that you had some uniforms at your house. Mrs. Lee, whenever you send your daughter over to his house, and if it's a school day, do not send a uniform. Because if you don't have 4, you're going to get 4. You owe just as much obligation to pay for this child's uniforms as she does. So you're going to reimburse her $43.20 for the uniforms. The dental card, you said you have dental insurance.
Yes, ma'am.
I want you within 24 hours to get Mrs. Lee a copy of that dental card for the dental insurance for that child.
Yes, ma'am.
Each of you will pay 1/2 of the uncovered cost for the dental insurance, the 20%. You'll pay 10%, except that you will reimburse him 1/2 of the premium. You both have the eyeglass insurance, and you're ordered to maintain it. The $90.83 electric and gas bill, Mr. Lee, you're ordered to pay that bill. I didn't buy your explanation that your wife put that bill in her name for your sake, and that is her bill. You live there. You pay the bill. Mrs. Lee, the $75 per week that you're asking the court to order him to pay back to your mother for child care, first of all, there was no agreement because he disagrees that there was an agreement, and you don't have any proof that there was. There was no court order. There is no agreement as far as the court can ascertain, so I can't order him to reimburse her $75 per week. That has to be denied. That's the order of the court. Does everybody understand what I've ordered?
Yes, ma'am.
So ordered.
All rise.
When divorce court returns, an update on the case of Joanna Archer versus Jim Archer.
And I found a duffel bag full of clothes, a skirt, a blouse, a purse.
Women's clothing?
Women's clothing.
Closed captioning for divorce court provided by. If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. And now for an update on a previous case in divorce court. Joanna Archer says she couldn't stay married to her husband Jim because Jim had decided to live full-time as a woman named Rebecca.
So for 9 years of the marriage, you lived in deceit?
I lived in denial of my true self.
I think it's disgusting.
What is it?
That's an it.
No, that is not an it. This is a human being.
And I found a duffel bag full of clothes, a skirt, a blouse, a purse.
Women's clothing?
Women's clothing.
When Jim kicked Joanna out of their house, Joanna found comfort in a friend of Jim's named Jan.
She came into the room, into the bedroom, and she told me they were in love and she was going to leave with him.
On what fantasy reality planet were you on at the time? Because I think your pantyhose cut off the circulation to your brain.
Woo!
The judge decided that Jim deserved to keep the fur coat they both wanted so badly. Joanna says that she may get married again, to Jan, and Jim has moved back to his home state to start life over as Rebecca.
Reaction to the verdict was fair. I don't know that everything that I presented was said in the best way possible, but she understood at least where I was coming from, where our daughter was concerned, and she's our main concern, to take care of her, see to it that she's got a good life and a good future.
It could have been a little better, but so be it.
He's got potential to be a good father to Brianna. I don't have a problem with him specifically. This just brought out a lot of old emotions, but I want him to be a good father. Brianna doesn't know differently, and that's the way it's going to stay.
In the beginning, I really did love her in the beginning, and now it's over with now, so we both moved on. So be it.
I have moved on. I do have another life now, and hopefully, with the blessings that I've got coming so far, maybe I will be married to someone a whole lot happier and be a whole lot happier.